So yeah, as you can see, Gerrit Cole was not too happy last night. You rarely see him that upset. The Rockies, they put up a football score versus the Red Sox, and then there was some of the most savage / borderline disrespectful trash talk I've ever seen. Ellie, he had another game where he stole multiple bases and hit a home run, and the Mariners, they're trying to stop themselves from losing their last 20 of 30 games, which is insane to say out loud. We're going to talk about all of that and more in today's MLB Recap, and just a reminder, Recap is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use my code Fuzzy for 20 bucks off all of your tickets, and code Fuzzy on Underdog Fantasy gets brand new users a $250 bonus cash credit. You also get a free pick'em. LeBron is about to take on Jokic in the Olympics. They got a special for that as well. Don't miss out. Use code Fuzzy. Kevin Kiermaier never once played for my favorite team, but I'm going to really miss watching this guy play defense. He racked up an insane 172 defensive run saves over his career. He also was a fantastic athlete all around. He had 131 stolen bases. The cannon was legendary as well, so not only could he go get it with that elite speed, but you could not run on Kevin Kiermaier. One of the greatest defenders, not just in the outfield, but of any defender in the history of baseball. Kevin Kiermaier is in that conversation. He's a 4-time Gold Glover, but I think they had Gold Glove fatigue because he probably could have won 10. He should have won more than 4. He also won a Platinum Glove. So Kevin Kiermaier, we all tip our cap to you. Won an amazing career, but 2024, just forget about it. So we know that Kevin Kiermaier is currently a J, but he's most known for his days with the Rays, and they're playing each other. Vladdy, this guy is a one-man wrecking crew. After his early RBI single, Vladdy, he Thanos snapped a ball 900 feet up in the air, his 5th home run in the last 6 games. The Rays, they did get 1, and it could have been more, but I guess you just got to call this play the VAR show. You know how we called the throw at shortstop the Jeter? This is the VAR show because he's now made 3 leaping catches at the wall this week. We're going to skip to the 8th inning. Tampa, they did tie it at 2, but the Blue Jays, they turn up the heat for a 4 spot in that inning. Springer, he scores on a Justin Turner RBI. Varsho, he clutched up with the stick this time, and then a pass ball and an error handed the Blue Jays a few more runs. They pick up a big-time W because if they're going to save their season, honestly, if they would have lost, I think their season's over. Maybe this gives them hope. I don't think it should, but if they do end up trading some guys, who do you think is going first? Vladdy, Bo Bichette, Springer, Yusei? Who's getting moved? All right, guys, you need to bear with me because games like this are always so tough to recap, especially when your editor is a Red Sox fan. Sorry, Pesky. Ezequiel Tovar now has 17 home runs and 46 extra base hits overall. We're going to fast forward to the next home run because now it's 5-1 Rockies. Jacob Stallings, he ran it up to 8 runs versus Nick Pivetta, who's usually pretty good, but that's a stinker. And now we have some interesting drama. Reese McGuire flied out, and I guess that he did not like Cal getting fired up after that final out. Cal, he went full nuclear on Reese. Years ago, Reese McGuire got in trouble for doing this in a parking lot at Dollar Tree or something like that. Shohei, can you please show what Cal did? Now, was that crossing a line, that sort of trash talk? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, Ryan McMahon tagged a 2-run Oppo taco. I guess he was very hungry, so he gave himself a taco. And hey now, Jarren Duran, he will not stop raking. He's got 12 home runs, 22 stolen bases, 7 outs above average, and I think an almost 5 F4 already. Brenton Doyle, he's kind of keeping pace with Jarren, not gonna lie, which is crazy to say out loud. Brenton with the grandest of home runs, 16 home runs, 20 stolen bases, 9 outs above average, a 3.5 F4, a sac fly in the 7th makes it a 20 spot. So there's the 4th time in Rockies history that they've scored 20, but I will say, Duran, he tripled home 2 more, so at least he had a monster game. I'm a Jarren Duran fanboy, but the Red Sox, they do get crushed. I'm sorry, Pesky. Colorado, they won by 13 runs, and now we have back-to-back games where the winner won by 11. Now, at first, you might have thought the Nationals were going to destroy the Padres because it was 1-0 after a Winker single, and Juan Yepes, he now has a 15-game hit streak to begin his career as a National after that 2-run home run. But in the blink of an eye, the Padres, they put their knuckleballer out in front. Luis Ariz, he drove one to left. He makes it 3-2. Profar, that's back-to-back games with a home run. His 16th home run gives him 10 RBIs versus the Nationals alone. Kyle Higashioka, he's been a new man over the last 2 months. He doubled in his first of 3 RBIs. Wait for the others. Jackson Merrill, he's now 3 for 3. He's a home run away from the cycle in the 4th inning. I'll spoil it. He did not get the triple, but he did score Kim. Kyle, he extends his career high in home runs. That's his 12th home run. Again, he's been a brand new guy. That Yankee Stadium pressure maybe got to him. Who knows? I mean, unless you're Juan Soto or Aaron Judge. Manny, he laced an RBI single for their final run, and Washington, they deployed Ildemaro Vargas, a positional player. He had to go full Peter LaFleur and dodgeball to avoid that comebacker. The Padres, they've won 4 games in a row, which means that they gained a game on the Dodgers. We do have another 11-run win, but we'll show that after this one. I promise you guys. We're going to fast forward to the 4th. Matt Chapman, he deleted a baseball from existence. That thing was by his elbows, and he still somehow crushed it out. Tyler Fitzgerald, he wants 6 games with a home run. He's showing off the top 2% in sprint speed on this hustle double, and he scores right after that. Also, by the way, I do want to say it. I'll spoil it right now. Tyler, the streak ended. He did not have a home run in 6 consecutive games. Yaz knocked him home to make it 4-0 for Robbie Ray. I had no idea the Ray gun was back from the shelf. He was fantastic, and at one point, I think he retired 11 consecutive guys with a bunch of strikeouts. He got Ohtani again, so at this point, it's 14 consecutive outs in a row, 8 strikeouts. He did not allow a single base hit. I mean, that's massive for San Francisco, because if you can go Blake Snell, Logan Webb, Robbie Ray, Kyle Harrison, maybe even Hayden Birdsong, if he can keep it up, that's a nasty rotation right there. The Dodgers eventually got their first hit, but it didn't mean much. They would have needed a bunch of hits to keep up with the Giants, as Yaz and Patrick Bailey, they both found some holes, so 2 more runs score. Elliot Ramos, he's been a little bit quiet as of late, so it's cool to see him find some green. He got 2 RBIs on this swing. Matt Chapman, he added 1 more, but I'll leave it there. The Giants, they helped the Padres get to 7.5 games back of first place, which now that I say that out loud, it sounds like a lot. I don't know how much more Yankees fans can handle this. Yes, they are the other team that lost by 11, and to the Mets of all teams, it just can't happen. It looked like both teams were using metal bats, because I think both teams combined for 6 or 7 home runs. Glaber, maybe him getting hot is a consolation prize for their awful stretch the last month and a half. And Aaron Boone, he says, it's right in front of us again. Can you stop saying that, Aaron Boone? Just drop that. This was fun. Mark Vientos snagged a liner from DJ LeMahieu, and he turned a really cool double play with Jose Iglesias, who was mic'd up, and he got to sing his Oh My God song as he was coming off the oh my God, this swing right here. How did Tyrone Taylor hit that one out? Matt Chapman first, Tyrone Taylor, they're tomahawking pitches. He brought out a lacrosse stick to reach that thing. We call this a Juan solo home run. Juan Soto, he was smiling at Alvarez after he connected for a solo. And that's about it for the highlights for the Yankees. Gerrit Cole, he just joined a club that no pitcher wants to be a part of. I pointed up because I thought it was a pop-up, when in reality it was actually a home run club. So he pointed out on pop-up. Nope, it was a home run. A 2-run tater for Alonso and Lindor. Lindor went to the second deck. He has 20 home runs now, so he steals the lead back from Pete Alonso. Tyrone, he stung Gerrit Cole again, and Gerrit is beside himself. He's tossing the glove on the field. He's mad in the dugout, kind of smacking things. And speaking of smacking things, Mark Vientos, his 12th home run. And Francisco Lindor now has 21 home runs after a massive 5 RBI night. He's hitting .321 with 10 home runs and 27 RBIs since the midway point of June. The Mets, they improved to 5 games over 500. They've won 3 games in a row. Are they buyers or sellers at the deadline? Let me know. So anytime we talk about the Yankees, we got to talk about the Orioles, and apparently the Orioles are taking on the 1920 Yankees. The 2024 Miami Marlins have been playing great lately. Gunnar Henderson helped out his rookie starting pitcher who was making his debut. I think his name is Chase McDermott. His first strikeout came against Nick Gordon, and Josh Bell, he's trying to reverse the curse. His miserable season, I mean, he's got a negative WAR on the year, so hitting a home run in 2 of your last 3 games, that will help. They call this guy X. Xavier Edwards, he continued to ruin Chase McDermott's debut. He singled through the shortstop gap, so he's got a 12-game on-base streak and a .361 batting average in 21 games. This was more of a sack liner as opposed to a sack fly. Nick Gordon, good thing that he did that, because Edward Cabrera, right before he was pulled, he loaded the bases, and you hear that? That's the sound of moos back in Baltimore. Colton Cowser just cleared the bases with 1 swing. Baltimore was mooing, and Miami was booing, and Fuzzy was mewing. Sorry about that. Well, the Marlins fan base is back to cheering. Jazz, he slides in headfirst on a hustle. Huge 2-run double. Brian De La Cruz, he brought him home like 2 seconds later. Jazz, he will 100% help a playoff contender stop with the whole, he's a clubhouse cancer BS. Tanner Scott has 18 saves, and the Orioles, they've lost 3 games in a row. Corey Seager, please do this more often. And when I say this, I mean get more base hits, because he's only hitting .269 on the season. He's still been very, very good, though. Luis, is this the final home run for Luis Robert Jr. as a White Sox? It could be, because the Rangers bombarded Chicago and their pitching staff. Adolis Garcia and Nate Lowe, they gave Eovaldi a big lead, and I don't know why I wrote Gosman. This is definitely Nathan Eovaldi. He was frying folk. He had 10 punch-outs over 7 frames. Robbie Grossman, he added to their lead with a solo blast, and after a few more sac flies, Nate Lowe, he entered the home run run chat with a shot the other way. That's a 3-run home run to left field. He completes the double-digit performance by the Rangers. They've won 4 games in a row. The Rangers are now 3 games back at first place. I repeat, 3 games back. The Mariners, they dropped another game versus the Angels, which means they just got swept. The Angels out of nowhere are 8 games back. And again, I know it sounds like a lot, but the West isn't as good as we anticipated. Maybe when hopefully Mike Trout is okay, but what if he comes back and Reed Detmers is actually good when he comes back from AAA? Regardless, the Mariners, they squandered a masterpiece from Luis Castillo, who had, I think, 7 strikeouts over 6 scoreless after Mitch Haniger pelted a home run. It could have been more, but Luis Rengifo turned a sick double play in the 4th, and Griffin Canning has one of the best changeups in baseball, so he gets the final out. Gregory Santos, he botched the Castillo star all by himself with Willie Calhoun. He ties it on a rocket single, and Brandon Drury, he took advantage of a balk. That's just bad baseball. Pilar, he's on second. That's the only reason why the Mariners lost this game. Bad baseball from them. Carlos Estevez, he converted his 20th save, maybe his last save as an Angel. Maybe he's on the move. The Mariners, I can't believe this is a real stat. They've dropped 20 of their last 30 games. I'm going to spare you guys from a snooze fest because this was basically a repeat of the game that you just saw. Vierling with the solo home run. Again, basically the same game. They lost 2-1. Flaherty, he was cruising, but a wild pitch in the 5th really bit him. Kwani, he singled the other way and in scores Naylor. Tanner Bybee, he was cooking, but he left with cramps. He said he's been cramping in every single start for the last month. He's out after 4 strikeouts, 5 innings. By the way, where's Jack Flaherty going? He leads Major League Baseball in whiff percentage. He goes 6 innings, just 1 run, 6 strikeouts. Honestly, if he comes to Cleveland, that will be just a massive W. The Cleveland bullpen went 4 hitless frames. Naylor, he clutched up in the 8th, and I should probably say first names because there's a Bo and a Josh. Josh Naylor, he stepped up after J-Ram got the intentional walk. Clase, the dude is just nails, despite the fact that he doesn't strike out a ton, which I feel like I should be worried about that, but you cannot argue with the 0.7 ERA and 31 saves. He has 142 saves. He's 8 away from the Guardians' record. We just saw the Rangers win. The Mariners lose. What about the Astros? They won. They finally stopped the mighty Oakland Athletics. Altuve's single in the 2nd wiped out the game's tying run from Miguel Andujar, and later in the 5th, Chas McCormick, he found a barrel. That's been rare for him, and he really needs to step it up over the final 2 months of the season. Jeremy Pena has had a really nice bounce back in the box. Hunter Brown, he shoved again, and I don't know what changed, but he finally looks like the Hunter Brown we were all promised. A double play and a strikeout ends his night, so he leaves with just 1 run over 6. He has a 2.1 ERA over his last 12 starts, and that's including a stinker 7-run day against the Twins. By the way, every single one of those last 12 starts, he's gone 6+ innings, so he's been a workhorse. And a lot of older fans will say, 6 innings is a workhorse? It is in modern day, okay? The Astros ran it up to 8 after Altuve drove in another RBI, his 3rd base hit of the day. Bregman, is he going to walk in free agency? You guys have to let me know in the comments. That is a 2-run extra base hit, and that was just past the diving Abraham Toro at 3rd base, who used to be an Astro. And would you look at that? The Astros, they're back in sole possession of 1st place. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but Elly De La Cruz just stole his 50th bag. I love round numbers, so that's really cool right there. Spencer Steer, the man who rakes, he got it just past Adam Duvall and Zach Short. What an absolutely awful throw. Spencer, he scores on the Little League home run, and this really hurts if you're a Braves fan. That was strike 3, should have been out 3. It's now ball 2, and Jake Fraley, I mean, that's baseball in a nutshell. He ropes a 2-run home run. Elly, give him a tater as well. Elly has 18 home runs, and I think he stole another bag later on, so that's 18 home runs, 51 stolen bases. The kids were hyped up to catch it, and the Reds added 2 more on a few other extra base hits. Noel Villamarte, he dropped in a 2-run double. Spencer Steer showed off why I call him the man who rakes. He had 3 extra base hits in this game alone. He has 24 doubles, 15 home runs, 64 RBIs, 15 stolen bases. He has been a fantasy god since last year. The Reds, they went 9-4. They've won 2 games in a row. So the guy who started the scoring in this one was the guy who also finished it. Rowdy Tellez, he went way out in the 4th inning. We'll talk about that in a second. Not before he singled in Brian Hayes, and Pittsburgh, they ended up with 4 runs after Andrew McCutchen took a walk with the bases loaded. And I haven't said this name in a long time. Connor Joe, he doubled in 2 because Dylan Carlson, he was so close to making a web gem, just past the glove. Siani, I think he catches that 10 times out of 10. Rowdy, watch it fly into the Allegheny on the fly. That's a prodigious home run. Martin Perez, 6 shutout, awesome for him, but he did walk 5, so I don't know if I want to show off his highlights. 6 scoreless is 6 scoreless. Pittsburgh wins a huge game because they're now 1 game back of tying St. Louis in the Central and the wild card. From one prodigious home run to another, Rowdy went 445 feet. Matt Wallner, I mean, he almost matched him, 441 feet. Trey, his only went 425 feet, and I have another question for you guys. A lot of questions. Is Trey making a serious push for Hall of Fame consideration? If he does this for another 3, 4, maybe 5 years, I think he's going to have an extremely solid case. Philly, they kept it moving. They found themselves up 4-1 after 7 when Schwarber played it 2 and Castellanos, he singled home Brandon Marsh. But I should have said they had a lead after 6.5 because Minnesota, they tied it with the quickness. Kepler, he drove in Castro on a ground out, and Carlos Santana, he somehow got this ball to drop. I thought that Marsh was going to catch it, just kind of miffed it. We're in the 9th now. Rookie Austin Martin did his job. He bunted over Trevor Larnach, and a broken bat single walks it off from Max Kepler. Twins fans, you got to be happy about that. Beating the Phillies on the same day that the Guardians won, that's huge. Milwaukee pulled a Philly after the rookie Jackson Chourio made it 1-0 for the Brew Crew. Chicago, they fought back pretty much instantly. Happy knocked in Seiya Suzuki, and then Seiya knocked himself in. Seiya, he's got a very impressive 122 OPS plus over his first 330-ish big league games. Justin Steele, he strikes out Garrett Mitchell. He's like, please do not take me out. He's waving them off, but he gets taken out. He's not happy at all with his manager. He is not happy at all with Craig Counsell. He's out after 98 pitches. The bullpen got out the... No, they did not, because Bryce Terang, he can knock it out with the bases loaded. He's a cheat code in those situations. Bryce ties it at 2, and here's the dagger. William, he splits the gap, and Blake Perkins, he turned on the Jets. He scores all the way from first base, and the Brewers, they take 2 of 3 from the Cubs. Are the Cubs officially sellers now? They're 11 games back and 49-55 on the season. The Snakes, they were snaking versus the Royals. Eugenio Suarez just went 416 feet. And wow, Jock Peterson now has 200 career home runs, one of the more underrated power hitters of our generation. And he's going to have to put that ball in rice because it went into the fountains. Back-to-back home runs. Christian Walker, he's been a machine this year. 23 home runs, a 132 OPS plus. But I do have to point out that the Royals actually did make this a game. Isbell, he put the team on his back. Well, a lot of it had to do with the Arizona just kind of faltering and having miscue after miscue. But like I said, the Snakes were snaking. Gabby drove in 2, and Ketel Marte, he hit the power button. I thought for a moment Kyle Isbell was going to make another home run robbery. The Royals, they tried to storm back again. Seawald, he stunk it up again, but he gets the final out. The Diamondbacks win back-to-back games against the Royals. So again, that Twins walk-off is even bigger. Well, everyone, that does it for today's recap. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know I cut out a lot of fat. I just have a lot to do today, but do me a favor. My man Pesky Talk, he's been posting like crazy. My editor, go subscribe to him, Pesky Talk, and enjoy the web gems.
This ball hit to right. Soto back, still going back. He got turned around. And
that's broken back, ground ball to third. Ortiz. Slick play.
Great play by Alex.
Alex Bregman
Scored 3 runs.
Slow tapper, Gino in front of Perdomo. Barehand, do or die.
Well, Verdugo, the diving catch, is it made?
It's a soft bouncing ball to third. Barehand picked up Kike Hernandez, and he's showing off